Okay, so let's do this. It is Friday the 18th of June 2021. I am shooting this, I'd say quick. It's probably not going to be that quick video on the way to completion of the intruder alarm CCTV system and intercom for a client in Devorden in Usk, which is a beautiful part of the world, and his property is absolutely stunning. £800,000 barn conversion. It is an absolute thing of beauty, fair play. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about my quest for a slot or a position during the 2022 Ironman 70.3 World Championships, which is going to be held in Lake Taupo, New Zealand. So, what is all this about? I've been an age group triathlete now for 5-6 years, I think it is, I can't remember. I got into it when I finished playing football. I really needed something to do with my time. Due to my personality, I've got a very addictive personality. I'm either all in or I'm not in at all. And I found a love of endurance sports and triathlon. I'd always cycled as a kid. Always loved the bike, whether it be BMX, mountain bike, and then I went on to road bikes when I was a bit older. But not having much money, it was difficult to justify continuing to cycle when parts were becoming expensive, wheels and all the rest of it. But anyway, fast forward, I put my foot down, 65 in the works van is flying today. But anyway, fast forward a good few years, and I got involved in endurance sports by two good friends of mine who I was part of a network marketing team with, Jonathan Gibbs and Wayne Robbins, who had registered to do the Cardiff Triathlon. I had never done a triathlon before in my life. Couldn't swim very well. I could do breaststroke but couldn't do front crawl, and like I said, the bike, I was okay on a bike, but running wasn't really my thing. Even though I played football, I was overweight. I was 16.5 stone. I'm 6'2", 16.5 stone, playing centre half, thinking I was a good footballer. I really wasn't that good. I was just a big unit, and I was more like a roundabout on a football pitch. People used to have to go around me. But anyway, yeah, that's enough of the football career. The endurance sports. So what does it all mean? What is Ironman? And what is the distances involved? So Ironman is a brand. Ironman is a brand of triathlon. It's been going since the 70s, and like any other sports, there's lots of different brands for Ironman distance. The original Ironman distance is 140.6 miles, which is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and 26.2 mile run. I've only ever done one full Ironman distance, and that was 2017, and that was Ironman Wales. And whilst it was an experience, it was horrendous for me post-race with injury. I had done something to my Achilles tendon, so I wasn't fit going into the race. I couldn't run, I was hobbling around, and I also contracted Campylobacter the day before. Luckily for me, it didn't rear its ugly head until post-race, where literally the entire world fell out of my backside. I wasn't sick, but everything else just came out of my backside, which is absolutely awful. So yeah, I've done that, and I've done other distances, being sprint distances, Olympic distance, also known as a standard distance, which is a 1500 metre swim. It is a 40k bike, and then a 10k run. That was my first introduction into triathlon. It was my Olympic distance, and I was down in Cardiff, and the bug bit me, and it was there was no looking back from there. But a distance I enjoy. I nearly said specialise. I don't specialise in it, I enjoy it. It's a 70.3 distance, half Ironman. So it's a 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike, and then a 13.1 mile run. And this is a distance, like I said, I enjoy because you can actually race them. You're not constantly thinking to yourself to slow down, like what I was doing during a full Ironman distance, to slow down to make sure I wasn't burning too many matches. But at the 70.3 distance, you can go for it. You can put in some real good times, certainly on the bike and run. So let's break down let's break down what we've got all together. People say there's 3 disciplines. There's probably 4 or 5 disciplines all rolled into one as a triathlete. You've got the swim, which is one discipline. Unless you've swam, possibly as a youngster. I wasn't a swimmer, even though I could breaststroke. I was never a front crawler. And to do front crawl, or freestyle as they call it, I really had to learn, and I didn't really learn that until I started doing triathlon. So I'm 5 or 6 years in now, and my times are not too bad. As an age group, I'm about 145 per 100. But if you compare that to some of the, not so much the pros, because the pros they're coming from a background of either swim, cycle or run, but some of the fast age groupers, you're talking probably 130 per 100. And whilst that's only 15 seconds off what I'm doing now, maybe less than that, maybe 120. Let's call it 120 per 100. To even get a second off your 25 meter time, or 4 seconds off your 100 meters time, is tough. It really is. You need to spend hours and hours in the pool using your, looking at your technique. I'm never going to be a fast swimmer. So, whilst I'm 145, realistically during a race, 145, but realistically during a race, I'm probably about 152 to 155 per 100. Now that's not going to get me an automatic slot for the 70.3 World Championships. I'm going to be relying on what they call a roll down, and I'll explain that in a little bit more detail a bit later on. So that's the swim. The swim can comprise of 2 laps or 1 single lap with an Aussie exit, which is what they call when you run across the beach, or if you're on a lake, you run across a pontoon and get back in. So in 1900 meters, swim roughly will take me, say, 35 to 36 minutes. To be competitive, I really need to be down to 30 to 32 minutes for the swim. I'm not going to get down to that. I'm saying I'm not going to get down to it. It totally depends on what you're swimming in. If you're swimming in a lake, obviously you've got no current. You may have a bit of chop from a bit of wind, but certainly if you're swimming in a sea, it's a total different ball game altogether. So you've got the chop, you've got the current. You've got people swimming over the top of you, because that does happen in triathlon. People do swim over the top of you. You get punched, you get kicked, you get grabbed, you get dunked. Even though this is a non-contact sport, there's plenty of contact in it, certainly in the swim. Following that, so you've got the swim as the first discipline. The second discipline is the bike, and the bike is the bike. It's a 90k ride, or equates to 56 miles. Again, it doesn't, it depends on where you're racing. I've raced in Dubai, which was pan flat. 45k out into the desert, you turn, you come back. San Diego was another race which was amazing. It was flat, it was out to the naval base, you turned and you come back, and you did that in loops. So you can either have an out and back, or you can have a looped race. Other ones, Weymouth was quite hilly. Staffs was quite hilly. Just trying to think. The Immortal down in Stourhead, that was very hilly, and that's a real tough race, and that's a good race if you really want to test yourself. It's called the Immortal 70.3 or half Ironman distance in Stourhead. Then following that, you've got the run, which is a 13.1 mile or a half marathon distance run, or 21k run. Again, totally depends on the terrain. You can run on tarmac, you can run on gravel, you can run on grass, you can run down through a forestry, which was what happened in Stourhead. That was real tough, real good race, like I've already mentioned. So that's 3 disciplines you've got. The 4th discipline is nutrition, which You've got to be eating right, and you've got to be feeling right. But I think you've got more than that as well. You've got a fifth discipline, which is rest and recovery, including sleep. And when you rest, you don't do anything. But you need to couple that in with your nutrition as well. Ensure that you're not overeating, putting excessive calories into your body, which you're not going to then burn off, and they're going to turn to excessive weight in the forms of body fat. Whilst body fat helps you in a swim, it certainly doesn't help you when you are cycling up hills, trying to hold a power to weight ratio, or a speed or a heart rate. So yeah, you've got rest and recovery, you've got your nutrition. So there's about 5 disciplines all in all, really, for a triathlon. That's what I believe. Yeah, no, there's nothing else on that. Anyway, let's talk about the 70.3 Worlds. That is what this video is all about. I know I've gone off kilter, but for those who know me, I do go off kilter because I am a dyslexic. And my mind will wander and I'll start talking about all sorts of nonsense and rubbish. But what I want to do is I just want to charter and plot and also catalogue my journey towards it. The race is in September the 26th, I think it is, in Bolton, which is my A race this year. Bolton 70.3 is a new race. It's only been brought in because of the COVID restrictions. So they're putting this race on. I've been told it's a once in a lifetime race, not because it's particularly special, it's just because it won't happen again. So there's that race. I was due to race in Turkey as well last November, which would have been my A race. I paid for it, which is a 70.3 distance as well, and I've been told it's pan flat, which would have been ideal. But it's going to be on again this year, but the chances of flying to Turkey with the COVID restrictions and what's happening in Turkey, unfortunately, at the moment with what they're experiencing, I don't think that's going to happen. Well, it's probably not going to happen. The race will still probably go on, but I won't be able to go, so I'm going to lose that money because it's already been deferred once. But anyway, it is what it is. You can't change that. Also, Bolton, we've been led to believe, those who registered, that it's a UK only race, so only UK athletes are allowed to race in it, or UK based, I should say, not just UK athletes, but UK based, I think it is. So yeah, it's going to be a good race. It's in a lake called Pennington Flash. Sounds like a superhero. I've heard mixed reviews about Pennington Flash. The bike is a hilly 90k, which would suit me. I do enjoy the hills, and then the run is a hilly half marathon, which doesn't suit me. But realistically, I need to be going around 5 hours or just under 5 hours for this race. My best time I've ever done a half Ironman distance in was 5:32, and that was the Ironman 70.3 Super Frog in San Diego, which was flat. The half marathon for that, though, most of it, 7 miles of it, was on sand, and I did that in, I think it was 2:08 for the half marathon distance. So realistically, I could take off 20 minutes, I think, for that. But yeah, I need to be coming in 5 or just under 5 hours to stand me a real good chance of being in maybe the top 10, top 15 of my age group. I'm in the 45 to 49 age group. So yeah, I'm coming to the top end of my age group now. I'm 48 this year. People say, oh, it must get easier when you get older. It doesn't. It gets just as hard because there seems to be more athletes in the age group. The young 20 age group, you know, the 20 age groups at the moment, they're very full of real good class triathletes. But these triathletes, the ones in my age group, a lot of them have already been racing this fantastic sport for years and years, probably 20 plus years. And as I said, I've only been doing it for 5 or 6 years now. You're playing catch up. But yeah, to come in the top 10, top 15 of my age group would be a massive achievement for me, and it would possibly give me a slot on roll down. So what is roll down? Roll down is where there's a certain amount of slots allocated to your age group. I don't know how many it is going to be for my age group. Let's say there's 5 for, I think it's 40 slots in total for Ironman Bolton, and there's different age groups. Obviously you've got both female and male. You've got age groups. I think it's 18 to 23, no 18, I don't know what it is, but if you imagine like I think it's every 5 years you've got an age group, so say 20 to 24, 25 to 29, 30 to, you know, like that kind of thing. So you probably only get a maximum of maybe 5 slots per age group. So to come in the top 5, realistically, I'm not going to get that. To come in the top 10 is going to be really, really tough. To come in the top 15, possibility. My best race was Ironman Superfrog 70.3, where I came 29th in my age group, and the World Championships that year were in France. So racing in the US, then going to France, flying to France, you probably wouldn't have got that many people going there. Plus there was a lot of Navy SEALs racing in that race as well. So the chance of them being allowed to go there is probably quite slim. So what happens with the roll down is there's a certain amount of slots allocated. If number 1 doesn't take it, and say there's only 5, number 6 will get a chance. If number 2 doesn't take it, number 7 will get a chance, and they just roll down all the way. And let's just say that number 6 and number 7 doesn't want to take it, 8s and 9s get a chance. This will roll all the way down until they fill the slots. But I have heard stories that they couldn't fill the slots and they offer them to anybody. Now, I've got to be honest, if a slot was offered to me, and if I come 30th or 50th, I would still take that opportunity to race in the World Championships, because that is my goal. People got mixed views on that, really, because they said, well, if you was that good, you'd qualify automatically. Well, realistically, I'm probably not that good. Well, I know I'm not that good, but I won the opportunity to be able to race in that race. I have to balance my life with triathlon, and I've got to be honest, triathlon can be all-consuming. I've already mentioned my personality, which is very, very addictive. My wife will, she would totally, what's the word I'm looking for? Be kind to yourself now, Scott. Now, she would say you're a knob. I am, because I do get totally obsessed with things, and when I set my mind to something, I want to do it, and I go wholeheartedly into doing it. And sometimes that becomes at the detriment to other things. Now, triathlon, you know, there's been times where I've wanted to have a few beers on a night and I haven't. I suppose you call that dedication, which, yeah, it is dedicated to what you do, but there's been times when I possibly should have gone out with Erin for a day out or something, but I've gone off on a ride, or gone for a swim, or gone on a bike, or something like that. So yeah, I do become obsessed with stuff, and like I said, Erin will totally vouch me on this one and would say, yes, you are, you can be a right knobhead on times with it all. But that's just my personality. I can't change that. You can only change your personality for so long, and then in the end the true person comes out, and I'm not really into that bullshit of trying to be somebody I'm not. What's the point? I am what I am, and I am who I am, so who gives a shit, really? Anyway, I don't mean this to be a sweary video, but I'm going to swear now and then. So yeah, I wandered slightly, but yeah, I do have to be realistic on what I can achieve. Some people will train 25, 30 hours, maybe more than that. Let's say realistically 15 to 20 hours a week. I can't go doing that. I've got a young family. We've got our little boy Regan, who's 2.5, who's very demanding. Erin works from home at the moment, but I'm also a business owner. I've got my own business. I work not particularly long hours. My job is quite physically demanding. I'm a CCTV engineer and a locksmith, so I'm up and down ladders all day, or on my hands and my knees fixing doors. I'm an entrepreneur. I love my business. I really, really enjoy it. And being a business owner is probably one of the most hardest things I've ever done, other than being a stay-at-home dad for a year, which is what I did when we had Regan. But it's also the most rewarding, because you can go and earn what you want to earn. You're not governed by somebody telling you how much you're worth, which is what's happened in previous careers, which I'm not really, well, I won't talk about. There's not much point. But anyway, let's go back onto the World Championships. As I mentioned, roll down, about what it means and where I realistically need to come. But the other thing is the location of the World Championships as well. I've already said it's in Lake Taupo in New Zealand. I suppose I've got an advantage there that my brother lives in New Zealand. Is it an advantage or is it a disadvantage really? Because if I do qualify, it means I've got to go and see my brother. I'm just kidding. I've never been to New Zealand. He's been over there for 20 odd years. I've never gone to New Zealand, so perhaps this is a great opportunity for me to qualify, to go and race in New Zealand, and to see him, his wife Jo, and his 3 kids, Lily, Caleb, and Alice. Knowing my brother though, the way he is, I'd probably say, I'm qualifying for the World Championships, so I'm coming over to New Zealand. He'd probably say, yeah, he'd be probably like, yeah, that's great, Scott, but I'm working that day, so I can't be there. I shouldn't laugh, but yeah, me and him at chalk and cheese, we had nothing alike at all. We share the same surname, but we are totally different. We are totally different in every single aspect, I think. So that's made me tickle thinking about that. But no, yeah, Lake Taupo. So if you imagine you're flying to the other side of the world to go and do a race that's going to take you 5.5 hours. Is there going to be a lot of commitment from people wanting to go? Who knows? Perhaps there's a lot of people that think like me and think, well, this is a real good opportunity, and I'm going to take it with both hands. I'm going to grab it, I'm going to run with it, I'm going to go for it. So yeah, you could have quite a lot of people that want to do it, but I don't know. It's a lot of money. You've got to be able to have the means to pay for the race straight away. So if you're announced as a World Championship qualifier, they expect you to have your credit card ready to go up on stage to pay for your race fees, which are not cheap. At all. Bolton is costing 320 quid, I think, for the race, which is a lot of money. I'm racing Sunday now, which has just cost me 70 quid. It's a local race, it's a half Ironman distance, but that's cost me 70 quid. Granted, it's not Ironman branded, but yeah, you can see the difference in the Ironman brand, which is what people race for. Not all people, but I certainly love the brand. So yeah, the other advantage as well is that 2 weeks prior, I mean, it's Weymouth 70.3, so that's a real good race. I raced that when it was appalling weather for the swim and the bike, but then the sun came out for the run, which was good. But yeah, that's a tough race. So there might be a lot of people that have already booked in at doing that race, hoping to qualify for the Worlds, might not have the cash, might not be able to get time off from work, and also they would only have raced 2 weeks prior, so they might not be at a level where they think, you know what, I'm going to go and do another 70.3 2 weeks later. But it's all, just thinking things through my head. For me, I've got quite a few races lined up now. I've got this one Sunday, which is a half Ironman distance, which is in Chepstow Quarry in a National Dive Centre. So you've got 1900 metre swim around the quarry, which is 2 laps, 90k bike, and then a half marathon. So this is going to be my test, see where I am on my fitness level, my nutrition, the bike as well, because I've got a new bike. I'm racing with a new bike. So yeah, it's going to be a real good test on Sunday. I'm hoping to complete it around let's say around 5:30 something, 5:35. We'll see though, because I know we're going to have some real shit weather on Sunday. There's going to be some driving rain and winds. I've got a disc wheel on the rear as well, so I don't know whether I'm going to ride with that yet. I'm going to have to put my other wheels on, but anyway. Yes, I've got that race in 3 weeks then. I've got a sprint down in Torquay. So me, Erin and the boy are going to be going down to Torquay for the weekend, so I'll race. So that'll be about an hour and 10 minutes for that race. What have I got after that? I got a Porthcawl Olympic try. Brilliant race down in Porthcawl. It'll be my 3rd or 4th year of doing it now, and I absolutely love it. The course is brilliant. It's a sea swim. It's quite a few hills on the bike, and there's a little nasty little run with a nice little kick towards the golf club on the front of Porthcawl. It's really well organised. The people organise that, I take my hat off to you. Absolutely brilliant race. If you ever want to get into triathlon, that's the one to go for. It's brilliant. So I've got that, and then I've got I've got nothing in August at the moment, so that's going to be one of my main 70.3 training blocks then. But I've got the Outlaw Bowood half Ironman distance down in Bowood, which is not far from Castle Coombe. So that's a 70.3 distance. That's the beginning of September, and in 2 weeks after that I've got the half Ironman up in Bolton. So I already said about 2 races being close together. The Bowood one is 2 weeks before, but that would really just be like a fine tuning for me. I should be at that fitness level where I can do 2 half Ironmans within 2 weeks, as long as I don't get injured. So that's that. So lots of information there. I'm rambling. I know I'm talking. I'm not far away. I'm only about a mile from where I'm going to do the camera job now. So I'm going to be cutting off very, very shortly. But yeah, these little videos. This one's been the longest. Well, it will be the longest. It's 25 minutes. It'll probably be about half hour by the time I finish. It's just to document my journey, really, and my quest to qualify for those World Championships. I'm really going to put my heart and soul into it, and I'm going to go for it. I'm realistic, like I said. I could be one of those people say, I am going to qualify, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And whilst I'm going to be going out all guns blazing, I have to be realistic around this. So yeah, I'm going to be posting this to YouTube later on, but I'm going to post it to Facebook. What I'd like my friends and my family to do is to watch this, to get a better understanding of what I'm going to be going through for the next 3.5 months. So if I don't see you, you know where I am. I'm either in a lake, in a swimming pool, out on the bike riding, or running somewhere. I live in Cwmbran, so you might see me out running around Cwmbran. If you do, give us a beep. If you see me on the bike, give us a beep. And hopefully I get a lot of support from my friends and family. What's this now? Right, okay. That's nothing. What was I saying now? Just had a text come through about my job. Yeah, I hope that you like this journey. There's going to be plenty of ups, plenty of downs, a few tears out along the way, a bit of me being aggravated and pissed off, I should imagine. But yeah, I'm hoping to have quite a lot of fun doing this, and I've never done this before, so stay tuned for more and more videos. If you do get any benefit from this, whether it be because you want to do endurance sports, or whether you like the journey, or whether you want to get on this crazy journey that is called triathlon, or you might just get a bit of personal development from it, I don't know. Please like it, please share it, please comment on it, good, bad, indifferent, I really don't care. But if you really do get some benefit from it, can you just please let me know? Okay, 28 minutes in, until I speak to you all again. Be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care all, until I speak to you soon. Bye bye.